2, 1, you are live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this race of the girl and the robot. This is a really cool action-adventure two-body puzzler game developed by Flying Carpets Games and released in 2016. We're playing the PC version, specifically current patch, which could be either versions 1.005 or 1.06. I think we're all on 0.006. Hi, I'm protomagicalgirl, and with me I have two other cool people who are going to introduce themselves now.
Yeah, I'm Mike, also known as PurkisM. I've been running this game for like 2 years, and it's super good.
And I'm Daliddor. I'm newer to the game, but I have the world record. It's a great game.
Yeah.
Show off about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this race is going to be absolutely anyone's game. All of us are kind of okay at this video game in general, I think. Okay, we're ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. So the first thing we're going to do is mash the enter key so we can skip a cutscene. So yeah, this is the girl and the robot. As the name of the game implies, we're going to be playing as a girl and also a robot. The first character that we're going to be introduced to is the girl. The girl, each character has a couple sort of unique abilities. The girl can jump. She can also move very quickly, and she can crawl through tight spaces. So the girl is going to be our main character for this game. Both, I think, in total of the amount of intended playtime, and also because we just use the girl as much as possible because she go fast noom.
Yeah, she's pretty nifty.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this girl. We're jumping everywhere because you have higher horizontal velocity while jumping. So we're just going to be jumping everywhere, all over the place, all the time. The other character we're going to be playing as is the robot, who you just saw, presumably on all of our screens. The robot can't move as fast as the girl, and instead of jumping has this cool rocket dash, which if you tap a direction, do a dash after, and do all that after doing an attack or an animation, you can not only dash in a direction like I just failed to do well at all, you can also cancel animations with it, which you're going to see in combat in a second here. The robot also can't jump. I was just talking about that. And the robot can fight, which I've already implied. Oh, that was kind of sloppy. Cool, so now we have a little cutscene here. I think I'm like a second or two behind. Now we're going to press the friendship button, which is the most important button in the game, because it causes friendship. Someone want to explain the save system and everything?
Yeah, I'll explain it. So basically, this game is pretty well tied to its checkpoint system. So basically, if you miss, like if you do checkpoints out of order, you won't be able to beat the game. Certain events just won't trigger. And there's two different kinds of checkpoints.
To bring ourselves back over the other way. The reason we did the right side window jump was to go tag a save point. Like I said, you have to hit all of them. And by like I said, I mean like Perkis said, because Perkis was the one who explained that.
Oh, and the reason we die there is to despawn the robots that spawn after we hit that checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically basically the checkpoint and the enemy trigger is the same thing, like in the same place. So yeah, we just die to get rid of it.
All right, so our next task after another little death abuse here, kind of the same principle as the one after the elevator, is we're going to have to press a bunch of switches as the robot based on a pattern we can find out as the girl. We do this with an audio cue, so we're all going to be quiet for a little bit. Clear?
Yeah.
Yep.
What pattern did we get? I got pattern 3.
I got pattern 1 as well.
So there's a couple random things in this game. That pattern is one of them. There's 3 patterns, and you can tell which one you got based on an audio cue. So you don't actually have to wait and see. Cool, so we just finished Prison Towers. The next area of the game is Town. So we're going to start off by running on this way. And Daliddor, do you want to explain damage boosting?
I can explain it in just a minute because I'm almost there. I don't want to ruin the surprise of what I'm
Fair
about
enough.
to do.
That's super valid. So one little thing we're going to do right here then is we're going to use that dash cancel I mentioned earlier to fire this arrow quickly and then keep moving forward. Those directional dash cancels are a nice little bit of movement optimization that we can do for the robot. And so you'll see them in a lot of places to save just like a second, a couple frames, whatever it may be.
Okay, now here's the actual first path divergence. I'm the only current runner that actually does this path divergence, but there we go. Okay, and now you get to see robot run really fast.
Yeah. So this is the only spot in the game where it's really viable to damage boost because of how much stuff we're going to do in one single segment. Because Dal just lost a bunch of time setting that damage boost up, but is going to get basically all of it back over the course of the next, like, 2 segments of the game. Just because of how much the robot is going to be moving and how fast the robot moves while missing pieces of armor.
The only other viable location is for a different category altogether, but that would be past where we are already.
And then we're gonna backstab. I don't actually know where we all are relative to each other.
I just backstabbed as well.
Just backstabbing.
Okay, wow, we're really in sync then. Cool, so we just all pretty much finished town. So the next area of the game is the laser basement. As the name implies, it's a basement full of lasers. The gimmick of this area is essentially these switches that you have to step on so that they'll pass a beam of light through them, and you have to step on them alternating with each character so that you can kind of pass these beams of light down hallways and stuff. Unfortunately, this means we're going to have to do almost all of this area kind of the intended way, because you can't really skip almost anything, but once we finish this segment of the game, things are going to start getting real fun. The other little bit of randomness is coming up after this crusher wall. There's a guard who can spawn in one of 3 positions. One of them is really slow, the other 2 are kind of fine. Did you die?
Oh no.
Wait, what did I do? Oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, one danger of damage boosting is that you have to
Oh my
do
goodness.
combat there, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. By which I mean you die of embarrassment after losing a ridiculous amount of time. However, now we're pretty much done with a laser basement. The last thing we have to do is bring the beam of light all the way up here. This is one of those event-based triggers that Perkis mentioned. We actually have to open the door at the end of this hallway in order to trigger the save. But once we're done with that, it is time for what I lovingly refer to as Skip City. We're about to do like 4 tricks in a row without stopping. So I'll narrate them on my end, just for the sake of convenience. So the first thing we're going to do is head up these stairs. Then we're going to do a trick called Water Wheel, which is a relatively recent trick. It's a really fast way to get up onto this wall. The Water Wheel has a little bump on it that you can use to get up. Then we're going to zombie hover up through the graveyard by doing that. Tag a checkpoint. Then get up onto this fence if I stop being bad. And then we're going to do the newest major trick called Altar Skip, which we're going to skip pushing the altar in that church building by doing one of 2 really difficult jumps. We have 2 different methods for this. And landing on the roof of a building that we're not supposed to be able to get into until after pushing the altar. So I just finished it. How are y'all doing?
I missed Altar Skip.
Oh no.
I got risky as well.
I just hit Altar Skip, so we're done with that. Okay. I didn't lose too much time, because I was a little bit ahead earlier.
No, you're fine. And so now that we're all done with that, which those tricks are really hard, so I'm glad we're all done with that. We're heading into the arena where the mid-game boss is going to be. Before we can fight the boss, we have to do some more gameplay stuff. I said that sentence as if I had more to say, but we're just doing more gameplay stuff. Hey, I didn't fall through the floor! Let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, so basically there's like a checkpoint on the other side of a drawbridge. We've got no way of getting over the drawbridge without actually lowering it.
Mhm.
So we're stuck with this puzzle.
Yeah,
But there's
I mean,
something nice coming up later.
yeah, it's nice. You get a little handbrake here with a couple animations, especially after doing all of those tricks. It's kind of nice. And there's a lot of little movement optimizations we're going to do in this section. We're going to be like moving the girl and the robot little bits after we do their pieces of the puzzle, so that we can position them optimally for the next parts and get basically as much movement done as quickly as possible. Otherwise, while we're chilling here, there's not a ton to say. I do want to give a quick shout out to Celine Larochelle, the lead developer of The Girl and the Robot. He's been like super friendly to the speedrunning community. He commentated my run at Games Done Quick Express. He watches a lot of our like races and marathons and stuff, and he's just been super good to us, and we appreciate him. So now, instead of bringing both the girl and the robot out here in order to press paired switches, we're just going to jump with the girl around to the checkpoint on the other side of the gate. And remember that mid-game boss I mentioned? No, we're not doing it. So we're going to skip this boss. And what you really need to know about this boss skip is that the game doesn't actually check whether or not you've beaten the boss. It just requires that you get into the next area of the game. Which we can do by climbing up this mountain here. Shoutouts to the Celeste that I've been playing for the past day or so. Hit the checkpoint before the boss, and then just jump into the loading zone, and you'll be good to go. I didn't soft lock. Did anyone soft lock?
It's worth noting that this game occasionally eats your inputs, and that can cause you to miss jumps and make you have to do this section all over again.
That's Perkis's excuse.
It can happen.
So now we're in Maze, which is the segment of this game where this game really opens up as a speedrun. I guess that's not as true anymore, with Town 2 being like super bonkers. But the cool thing with Maze is that pretty much every checkpoint is a positional checkpoint, and there's a ton of little bits of geometry we can use to like just get everywhere. We're not going to use the robot at all, despite the fact that we're very much supposed to be using the robot in this section. So we're just basically jumping around, tagging checkpoints. It's so on and so forth. If you hit all the checkpoints correctly, this elevator here will come up. If you don't, then you should probably feel pretty sad because you just kind of hecked your run. Then we're going to go down here to hit a checkpoint, and that just skipped a huge segment of the game. Then we're going to get out of this box by jumping on this vine and heading over here. Then we're going to skip a cutscene by jumping over top of it. You don't actually have to skip this cutscene. It's not necessarily faster. There's a really fast method of doing this segment of the game where you watch the cutscene. But the cutscene skip is easier and just a tiny bit faster, so we all do the cutscene skip. And now it's time for the purple robot conga line, which is the best thing in this game.
Just to be different, I'll show off the not cutscene method.
Ooh, look at you.
I'm like,
That's exciting.
well,
I haven't done that method of the trick since like my first couple weeks of running this game.
Up and...
Yeah, but I had to do Cannon Room twice,
Okay.
so...
Oof. Where are you at, Dal?
I'm almost at the conga line. I tried something and it didn't work.
Ooh. I've got a little bit of an advantage here then. Our last race in a marathon, I bungled it real hard. So this is good. This game is real hard. Like I don't know if that's come across in the tricks we've been doing and stuff, but there's a lot of really precise stuff you have to do that if you die in the game, you die in real life, basically.
So basically what I'm doing is I hit the cutscene, but then we just kind of jump around the maze anyway. So like the cutscene skip method is a bit slower because you have to get on, well, not slower. It requires more setup, but you skip a cutscene. So
Yeah.
they both kind of balance out.
So the final thing in Maze that I just did is this sort of like Zelda-style floor tile puzzle, where you have to hit all the tiles without repeating any of them, with the added caveat of you have to split them evenly between the characters. And with that, I'm now in Town 2. I don't have a timer up, but I have a feeling I'm on PB pace. So we'll see what happens here.
About 15:30 right now.
I don't know what my splits are. So in this segment, we're going to hit this bell to open the doorway to the next area. But instead of using the robot to fight off all of these purple robots that are going to come after us, what we're going to do is jump out of bounds by jumping on this tree, along this wall, and then out of bounds around here. I just skipped the trigger that lets this enemy AI path to the girl. So now they're all just going to stand here and chill and stare at you with their creepy purple eyes, and I can go straight on to the final area of the game, Castle, without any problems at all whatsoever. So Castle is one of the longer segments of the game, but we're going to skip basically everything. I just did a skip. I'm doing another skip right now. Now I'm going to do a death abuse, which is going to bring the robot up to this front area of Castle. Not necessary, but it's faster than walking the robot all the way here. Then I'm going to put the girl in this elevator, and then I'm going to walk on water. This is just a thing you can do. There's no special trick to it. It's just a thing you can do. So we're going to do it.
Yeah, basically, like, that trick is the main reason that current patch is quicker, because they changed, like, the water model, but didn't change the height of the kill plane. So normally you die when you hit the water, but because they raised the model that has collision, but didn't raise the kill plane, we can just walk on it.
And I'm into the final boss now. So runs of Girl and the Robot aren't over until you've killed the final boss. Phase 3 of this boss is super brutal. What I'm gonna do now is hang the girl off the edge of this platform. While the girl is standing there, the enemy AI is not gonna be able to path to her at all, so I can do the rest of this fight as just the robot. Phase 1 is easy, Phase 2 is really easy, and Phase 3 is super difficult, and you can just get screwed. So here's hoping I don't just get screwed. Time.
Nice.
1743.
Ooh. Not a PB,
Ish.
but close. That was really good. Holy moly. So yeah, that's the girl and the robot. GG. I didn't realize we were so close. Nice.
Yeah, I'll be a minute.
There's no races of this game where one of us doesn't just kind of get hecked. This game is real difficult. Chat, if you could please help us out here. In celebration of a successfully finished Girl in the Robot run, we always spam GG Bible Thump. Because the credits are sad.
Also, take a look at the witch's hands.
Oh, I forgot to look.
Yeah, the Dark Witch, who's like the villain in this game, has cool robot hands, and like this was just a thing I knew and assumed was common knowledge. I pointed it out during our weekly race today, and both Perkis and Dal were like, wait, the witch has robot hands? It was hilarious. So yeah, speaking of our weekly races, if you liked this game, first of all, you've got good taste. Nice job. Second of all, you can find more information about the speedrun at speedrun.com/TGATR. On the speedrun.com page, you can find our leaderboards, obviously, a link to our community Discord where you can hang out with Perkis, Dal, and I, and a bunch of other Girl in the Robot runners, as well as Salim Larochelle, the developer I mentioned earlier. There's also, hosted on speedrun.com and linked in the Discord, is the current... GG! is the current...
Sorry, continue.
I made a video tutorial for current patch. So if you'd like to learn this game and have got like, you know, honestly like 2 hours to kill, you can totally do it. You should speedrun this game. It's really fun. And at Salim, when is Act 2?